This news just dropping. Derrick Henry not likely to return to Tennessee. Now, this isn't like breaking news. We all kind of knew this was the case, but with teams like the Giants may be capable of reeling back in Saquon Barkley with a lucrative offer comparatively to the market value, there is some thinking that, these guys could go back and get a better price from a team that says, hey, our offense, let's run it back one more year, if there's no market. So if Barkley goes out, doesn't get a market over 10 mil a year, the Giants might be offering 12 or 13. Same thing with Derrick Henry, at least we thought, right? A little bit of fear he could return to Tennessee, but now that this report came out, it just kind of confirms that what we already know, what we already think, that he's far less likely, or was far less likely. Now it seems he's not at all even considering going back to Tennessee. And I have it on good authority from a few very shaky sources. So take that in smoke season for what it is, that Baltimore is right now the lead dog candidate, but that is coming from 8 degrees of separation from probably the reality of the situation. And I'm just going to be honest with that. You don't know what your sources know at this point. And quite honestly, everybody's opening their mouth to try and get clicks and views, and people accuse me of that. But I'm merely here to report on what I hear, see, and digest it and spit out my interpretation of it. If anybody knows me well, that's what I do and how I operate. Let's talk about Derrick Henry. Landing spot 2024. The Fantasy Football Show begins now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
Derrick Henry. Where shall Derrick Henry play in 2024? We don't know. I believe the answer is going to be one of the 4 teams I continue to put on my screen over and over and over and say that Derrick Henry, Houston, Barkley, Houston, Dallas, Henry, Baltimore, Jacobs, or I could see these being flipped. Quite honestly, Jacobs to Dallas and Henry to Baltimore. I'm hearing Baltimore feels like the lean right now. At the end of the day, does Dallas come in and Jerry Jones say, let's swing big and let's throw a bag at Henry? I kind of feel like that's where it ends up going, but right now the feeling is, to be in all honesty, it's leaning differently than I'm projecting, because I have Henry going to Dallas and Jacobs going to Baltimore. Quite honestly, I believe all 3 of these running backs land in one of these 4 spots. LAC, Houston, Dallas, Baltimore. Those are the 4 juicy landing spots that every one of these 3 RBs, including all the other RBs that are in the game right now, want to go. Unless they don't know what time it is. DeAndre Swift, Tony Pollard, Austin Eckler have a little less pull than the other boys, because those guys are super chat by Thomas dropping a picking 11th in my league draft locked in on Garrett Wilson. Your thoughts? I think it depends, Thomas, who's on the board. You know what I mean? Like, I love Garrett Wilson. I'm not going to say I don't like that pick. I almost feel like, why don't you draft maybe Gibbs or Kyron Williams that falls to 11? They're more likely to be there at 11 than they are at 13 or 14. So if I were you, I would take Gibbs or Kyron, and then I would take Garrett Wilson should he be there at 2.2. That would be my advice, Thomas. I appreciate your super chat. I would land and secure that RB, only because I think the RBs get thin right there at that flip, that turn, that 12-13 turn, and then the wide receivers are still very plentiful to a degree. If you believe that the opposite is true in your league, and Garrett Wilson and all the wide receivers you want will get snatched up, and that you'd rather have Garrett Wilson and Achane over missing out on Garrett Wilson, taking Kyron or Gibbs, and then having yourself a wide receiver dilemma where you're reaching really hardcore. You're drafting Marvin Harrison Jr. in a redraft in the second round, and you're not feeling comfortable about that. To be honest with you, I'm comfortable with Marvin Harrison Jr. in the second round. I know we don't know where he's landing, but that's part of the game. Scared money don't make money, man. Scared money don't make money, man. You hear what I'm saying, Thomas? Appreciate your super chat. Where, oh where does our Derrick Henry go? Very curious to know what you guys think and predict. It feels like if I had to put a percentage chance, 55% chance he goes to Dallas, 45% Baltimore. And I don't know that there's anything in between for Derrick Henry. I believe it's Baltimore or Dallas. Philly's a thought. Philly's a thought for Barkley. Philly's a thought for all three of the running backs. Jacobs, Philly needs to think big here. But quite honestly, I don't know that I feel that I can envision a different landing spot whatsoever for the man named Derrick Henry than Dallas or Baltimore. I almost feel like I could write it in. In fact, I think I'll write it on my door in marker. Let's write it on door my marker. Henry in Dallas or Baltimore. Let's go ahead and put it on the marker board. Let's go. On the door. On the door. Okay. Here we go. Henry. Actually, it's going to be too thick. It's going to absorb into the wood. We're going to go with the pen, but we're going to grain it in, okay? Henry to Dallas or Baltimore. What is today's date? Ziggy, what's today's date? I don't ever know.
It's Friday, March 8th.
March 8th. 2/8/24. On the door. On the door.
Sorry, I'm having trouble understanding.
Ziggy off. Maybe we write Perps' name on the door right now in big thick marker. Because he's been dropping. This is not to trigger Perps to do anything. Perps, you've done enough. Whenever, never expected, always appreciated. But Perps has been dropping a lot of gifted memberships lately. He deserves to have his name written on the door in pretty big writing. Let's see if we can write it so big that you can see it. Okay, right here. Perps. Can you see that? You can see that. You can see that. So whenever we go to big screen, Perps, you're right under. I don't know what is up there. What sticker is that? It's I think it's Homer Simpson. You're right under a Homer Simpson sticker. Perps in the building. Perps on the door. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial in. Where, oh where does your little Derrick Henry go? And I guess the better question right now is, hey, doesn't matter. Derrick Henry's going to be 30 years old. Son of a bee. That is beyond the drop-off age for RBs. And you could say Mostert, Smitty, 31 years old last year. Did great, right? Well, he hasn't been a workhorse his entire career. And therein lies the anomaly that occasionally can rear its crazy head, like McKinnon in KC had a great year at like 31, I think he was. Ziggy, how old is Jerick McKinnon?
From blackenterprise.com. After participating in
Ziggy off! God, he doesn't know anything. He's worthless. Jerick McKinnon, age 31. Turns 30. He turns 32 here shortly. So I'm correct. Ziggy's wrong. I'm correct. What's new? God, he's worthless. He's worthless. He's family. We can't get rid of him. But can we put him downstairs with a red stapler or something? Here, I got an idea. Red stapler. Ziggy, here's your red stapler.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, you're not sure because he's not getting his check anymore. We conveniently stopped paying him, but he keeps showing up with this red stapler. Go type a TPS report, you worthless intern. Where were we at? Derrick Henry, what is his value at 31 years old? Again, McKinnon turning 32 did good things at 30, right? Not last year, 2023, he wasn't good. He wasn't good at all. He was injured. Hey, Smitty, maybe you're right. 30-year-old running backs, it is a tough thing to do. Mostert, almost guaranteed to not have a healthy year. Maybe he's great for month 1, and Bob's going to come in and go, oh, I guess Mostert's not going to be good, Smitty. Why is he having such a great month 1? First 4 games, Mostert's going crazy. You didn't listen to what I said. Mostert could go on a tear in month 1, even a month and a half. At some point, Mostert will not be able to get on the field. This is the nature of being a 31-year-old running back. Ziggy, how old is Raheem Mostert?
Raheem Mostert is 31 years old and was born on April 9th, 1992.
So he turns 32 as well. 32 years old. Do you guys notice a theme? These two guys, Mostert and McKinnon, didn't have heavy workloads. They were anomalies at an older age. The problem with Derrick Henry, I'm not saying I'm not on board. You're going to be kind of confused by my answer. I think I sound like I'm double talking here a little bit. Double talking. Donnie coming in strong today. Smitty's sliding straight in as a double talking Donnie. He's sounding like a wishy-washy William. But I'm not. Here's where I'm headed with this. I think Derrick Henry is the anomaly that we can never expect to ever return and grace us with the crazy workload his entire career in production past 30 years old. There's a difference between Austin Eckler, workhorse his entire career, dropping off at the age of 28. Kamara, workhorse his entire career, looking really good, but kind of tailing off at the end and probably disappointing majorly at 29 years old in this upcoming season. Aaron Jones, looking great when he's on the field, but disappointing tremendously at 28 years old, last season in 2023. You get the theme? It's one thing after another. Disappointment is almost inevitable at some point during the 28-year-old season. Christian McCaffrey, unfortunately, is entering his 28-year-old season. And there's a high probability that even if he looks amazing for a month and a half and Bob comes in here and goes, you remember in your what's the date today? What is 8th? Yeah, 8th, yeah. Remember in your February 8th video when you said maybe Christian McCaffrey could drop off? It's week 5 and he's going on a tear, Smitty. Are you taking a lap yet? There's a strong chance that Christian McCaffrey looks absolutely like Aaron Jones did his 28-year-old season. Amazing when he was on the field. I mean, even at the end. Aaron Jones did great at the end of the year. But he couldn't stay on the field. Cooper Kupp actually played, because 30 is the same thing for wide receivers, it's the equivalent. Kupp played amazingly at times. It happens. Eckler didn't. It's not always an exact science, but if there's going to be a running back that is going to be able to do well at the age of 28, for the time he's on the field, it's going to be Christian McCaffrey, the way he takes care of his body, how good he played, how good he finished. But keep in mind, Austin Eckler finished as good as Christian McCaffrey in a way, not completely, but the year prior to this past season. Walking into 2023, this very most recent season, people thought it was absolutely ludicrous to say Austin Eckler was going to drop off. He was a must avoid for me. I said don't go near him on draft day. Trade for him later. That part I got wrong because he didn't even bounce back at all. He didn't even earn his buy low value. He didn't lose you a league. It wasn't a league losing, move to trade for him on the cheap, but I said avoid him. I said avoid Cooper Kupp. Granted, I said be cautious with Christian McCaffrey, not avoid him, but be cautious. And Christian McCaffrey had an elite season. But I think walking into this 2024 age 28 year, it's more risky to go after him than not. Now, is it more risky to avoid him than not. I think you need to draft Christian McCaffrey in any best ball draft or draft where you got the number one. Because how often are you going to have the number one overall pick? Use that as your risky, I'm going all in on McCaffrey team. You should not avoid an opportunity, at least one, to grab Christian McCaffrey. Because if the ride doesn't end, you'll be sick to your stomach that you don't own him yet again. However, if I was given the number one pick in 3 side-by-side drafts, I would only draft Christian McCaffrey in one of the 3. You can get mad all you want. The people that said the same thing about Austin Eckler last year, I do tend to jump a year early than I do a year late. Hence why there are some running backs and wide receivers that I've said stay away from to a degree, not entirely. And they've had a couple good years, or each of them had a good year or not a good year. More often than not, it's on the money. I'd say, 7 times out of 10, maybe even 8 times out of 10, avoiding players that have high mileage, high usage at the age of 28, going into the 28-year-old season for running backs, going into the 30-year-old season for wide receivers. 7 times out of 10, you're going to avoid disaster more than you're going to have regret. As for Derrick Henry, careful, Sick Nasty. Eckler tunes into this show. He might come for you. I don't think he watches the show. I think he sees my Instagram posts from time to time. And I know he's seen the one where I showed that guy getting hit right in the nuts on the swing set and said, this was Austin Eckler for fantasy owners that drafted him. And Eckler, I know, saw it and canceled his interview. Oh. Well, that's okay. I do believe Derrick Henry, the anomaly Derrick Henry, can still have 4 missed games in 2024, given he's going to be 30 years old. 3 or 4 missed games. At the end of the day, though, in Dallas or in Baltimore, he's going to have 10-plus touchdowns. So the fact that you can get this man right now in the 4th round on Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty, where your boy Smitty, if you use code Smitty, you get up to $100 bonus match dollar for dollar on your first deposit. That link has been dropped in the live chat. I'm going to pin that link in the description of the video right this very second. Please hit that link and sign up ahead of time and early so you don't miss out on some live drafts. But phone lines are open if anybody wants to dial in. The phone numbers at the top right of the screen. I think that Derrick Henry at 4th round value, you're packaging in all of the risk we're talking about, though. Miss 4 games, okay, so be it. Little less explosion, but they get him the ball in the right places, and Dallas is a potent offense, so he's got maybe less speed, less quickness to hit the hole, but he's got more wide open rushing lanes because Dallas is spread out. They've got CeeDee Lamb and the boys, and they're doing good things, and hard to really, contain that. And in Baltimore, they're very, very good at running the football. And I think that while there's some risk of running back by committee, you want that. You need that. Derrick Henry can't handle a full workload anyway. So Baltimore might be ideal for him because Baltimore is a situation, probably the biggest situation, the most potent situation for a 10 to 15 rushing touchdown running back that has like 1,000 yards on the ground, like 50 to 60 yards a game. Like 1,000 yards is like 50 something yards a game, people. On a 17-game season, 1,000 yards is nothing. You rush for 1,000 yards is taking a knee. He's gonna get 1,000 yards missing 4 or 5 games in Baltimore, but he's gonna have 2 touchdown games, multiple touchdown games, at least 2 or 3, maybe 4 times. He's gonna have 2 touchdowns, 55 yards, 2 touchdowns, 65 yards. A game with 3 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns, whatever. He'll end up having 10 to 15 touchdowns in Baltimore, maybe 10 to 12, 10 to 13 in Dallas. I like these situations a lot. I do. If he goes to Philly, I don't mind it. If he goes to Houston, I like it, but I think they need somebody that's a little bit fresher. I think they go after Barkley. That's why Barkley is my my locked and loaded, if I had to lock something in, Houston Texan running back, free agent landing spot. These two could swap. And then, Corum going to LAC, Eckler to Cincinnati because they almost traded for him last year. That's my take. But I'd love to know what you guys think. Derrick Henry, according to this report, Jeremy Fowler is the one that reported it. It's not crazy new news, but it's just more confirmation of what we know to be likely in the cards here. Running back Derrick Henry is unlikely to return to Tennessee after a historic 8-year run per sources, though the door is not completely closed. Henry would leave Tennessee with 9,502 yards, 90 touchdowns, 2 rushing titles, and Offensive Player of the Year, and 4 Pro Bowls. Derrick Henry had an amazing year. Part of me wonders, though, what is the market space for Derrick Henry? Are all 4 of these teams thinking the way we are? Maybe they're not. Maybe Houston, Dallas, Baltimore, LAC goes, look, I love Derrick Henry, but dude's 30 years old. Mileage is crazy. Showed a little bit of a little less wiggle, and his quickness was a little bit lacking, and he was really winded and out of shape looking, kind of, in a way. His last, like, he put in his all in that last contest, but it's like, he definitely looks like he's getting older. His workout regimen is amazing. His off-season videos with the chains around his neck, pulling, SUVs, whatever the hell he's doing, constantly push-ups on rubber bands with chains around his neck. I get it. He looks massive, but the one thing about 30 years old as a RB, it doesn't matter how strong you are, how good your workouts are. Your knees, your knee cartilage, your knee ligaments, your knees don't get stronger. You can't improve your cartilage. It's not a muscle. Your knees are just going to have problems. Your body's going to break down. Your hamstrings, no matter how much you work them out, are going to start pulling. And your body starts breaking down. The Achilles tendon's vulnerable. How much damage have you done to your Achilles tendon over the years? This Achilles tendon thing's a big deal. It's come up for everybody. It's almost like it's a dormant, a pandemic of running back and quarterback and wide receiver and every position. It's like this thing is going to rear its ugly head more and more and more. And I guess, as I predict, I think there's going to be some preventative imaging type medicine systems in place that they'll try and combat and look into Achilles tendons and see who's got maybe some damage on them. Who is more prone to an Achilles tear, who needs to take a couple weeks off, and what kind of regenerative therapies do they have for Achilles tendons? Who's looking into this? These things get worse. It's like any injury. It's like they come in waves. ACLs were, remember, in waves and waves. Then his calf injuries mixed with Achilles because they're very connected. It's crazy. It's crazy. A lot of people say if you looked at Greenlaw's Achilles right before it ruptured, you would see in an image, if you did imaging on it, MRI, you would see the vulnerability in the Achilles. And similar to patellar tendons, you can tell who's susceptible a little bit more so to a patellar tendon tear than another based on their thigh strength, based on how much leverage and pressure you're putting on your patellar tendon. I tore my patellar tendon, ripped it right off my kneecap. And the reason I did it is because I put for years, we're talking 25 plus years of playing sports and doing everything, high school, college, everything, putting a majority, I would say something along the lines of 70% of the responsibility of impact, landing, jumping, falling on my patellar tendon and not my quad. I put so much pressure on my patellar tendons and knees to do all this work, the heavy lifting. They were just waiting to bust. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Love to know where you think Derrick Henry will go. Okay, your boy's here for you. We've got how many people in the building? About, 60 to 70. Punch the thumb up button. Spread the word. 82. I'm sorry, 82 people in the building, only 36 thumbs up. 82 of you are in here and only 36 thumbs up. Something's wrong with that picture. Please hit it. Do it live. Appreciate you. I I hope it's just smokescreen, but I hope Atlanta doesn't go with Kirk Cousins. Why don't you like Kirk Cousins? Birds aren't real. I don't think Kirk Cousins is bad. I like Fields more. Abe says Smitty was a freak of nature. Thank you, pal. I take that as a full-blown compliment. 100%. Smash that like button, says Sick Nasty. We got Perps on the line. Perps, what's going on? You're live.
What's up, buddy? How are you?
Oh, good. You see your name on the door?
No, I can't see it. I need some spectacles. Binos to get there.
Exhibit A is right here. Let me see if I can zoom in. I'll zoom in for you. Hold on. Exhibit A.
We got that 10-second delay. Hold on.
Yeah. We'll zoom in. Let's see.
I got it.
Okay, let me see if I can zoom in on this though. Why is this not zooming? Come on. I don't know. I'll have to zoom on it another time. But anyway, I'll take a photo of it.
You got any artistic ability?
Oh yeah. What do you need? What do you want me to draw you?
John, eggplant emoji next to it, I think, would be good.
Oh yeah, we can do that for sure. I'll do that next time. Smash that like button for Perps. What can I do for you?
You got to fix the date. You got to fix the date on the Derrick Henry writing on the wall.
Why?
You did February instead of
Oh,
March.
2/8, yeah. 2/8. What am I doing February? I think I said February earlier too on another 3/8.
3/8.
I honestly believed it was February when I said that. I don't know. The only thing I know is when to rotate picking up like kids at school or something. That's all I can remember what day of the week it is. I have no idea what day of the week it is.
You don't have to pay attention to daylight savings time. Your state does it right.
I do though, because I go live at 8 p.m. Eastern. So when it switches, I go live at a different time to accommodate 8 p.m. Eastern. But
I suppose.
Yeah, so it does affect me. The worst thing is it affects Arizona almost more than anybody, because we move. Even though we don't move, we move into a different time zone. I think California.
You accommodate everyone.
Yeah, California is 1 hour behind, and then when I think it's this month, right? This month in March when the daylight savings flips. When's it flip? This Sunday?
Sunday.
Yeah, so when it flips, then California and Arizona are in the same time zone. So it's like...
Oh, got you.
Yeah. So 8 p.m. Eastern will be 5 p.m. for me instead of 6. Right now it's 6:48. So I'll be going live instead of 6 o'clock. I'll be going live at 5, which is kind of good in some ways for me because I get a little bit early jump on getting off in enough time that everybody's not asleep. You know, sometimes I walk out.
You and Miss Smitty can have normal dinner.
Yeah, that's pushing it. But I walk out some nights and everyone's asleep. No one's eating. You know, if it's bad. I mean, maybe Miss Smitty can do it, but like everybody falls asleep waiting, and you know what I mean. Then I'll go get some stuff and wake people up sometimes. But anyway, enough about my crazy boring life. What do you think about Derrick Henry? Where is he landing, Perps? Is he going to Dallas? Is he going to Baltimore? Is he going to Philly? Is he going to Houston? Is he going to another location? What do you think?
Well, being Derrick Henry towards the end of career, he's got a lot of miles on the old legs. He didn't prove himself where he was at enough to be a top running back with an immobile quarterback. So I would say he'd do better with someone like Lamar or Hurts, because they're mobile, they'll run the ball, so it wouldn't all depend on him. Where if you put him in a Dallas doesn't have a strong, backup system, especially if Pollard leaves. So I don't know, that's my take.
Yeah.
But I'd say if I had to put money on it, Baltimore or Philly would be good for him.
Yeah, I think Dallas or Baltimore is the place for me, as I wrote on the board. But I mean, Philly could get involved at any moment. Really, Philly should be going after every one of these three running backs. These higher quality guys, Henry, Jacobs, and Barkley. They're kind of the premiums. DeBalt's on the line. DeBalt, where do you think Derrick Henry goes in 2024? Where is he playing football?
What's going on, Smitty? What's up, Perps? Yeah, I agree with you. I think Dallas and
Baltimore
are pretty good spots. I understand about Dallas, but you have to remember is Dallas is going to use him like they use Zeke. You know, Zeke was a red zone monster, even at the age, and I'm a big Zeke fan. Henry's still a better tier than Zeke is at this point in their careers.
Yeah, I think that the Pollard experiment is going to make Jerry Jones say, get a big monster in there. We're not doing this again. Like, I want a grind it out between the tackle running back. And Jacobs qualifies for sure. Barkley, on no question about it, qualifies. And Derrick Henry is questionably qualified because he's 30 years old. And I know everybody wants to say he'll run forever, but just keep in mind, we thought that about, Adrian Peterson. There's one day where Emmitt Smith didn't look the same. It happens to everybody. And Derrick Henry's certainly showing signs of slowing down. It doesn't matter if his stats were there. You could see it. Like, he would do well when he gets out in open space, and whatever team brings him in would be very smart to get him into open space. Because if he's got momentum, it doesn't matter if he's slow. He's too big to bring down. That's where he's got that's where his qualities are still in play. And he's very dangerous. But if he's got to try and hit a hole, doesn't matter how big you are, you're not getting through. And I always equate hitting the hole like elevator doors closing. If you're running for elevator doors that don't have any kind of stop measure in them that will open back up if you stick your hand in, let's just say those elevator doors would close and kill you and crush you if you didn't get through. For a running back, you're done. You're gone. If you can't run down that hallway and get into that elevator before the doors close, you're done. There's no ability to be a running back anymore. That's the crazy part about when a running back loses a step, he's done. Now, Derrick Henry, he's close to not being able to get to those elevator doors anymore. I mean, we're seeing it. So if he goes somewhere and he's having trouble, first of all, he needs to go somewhere where there are more open lanes. The elevator doors are further apart. And that's probably going to be Baltimore, Dallas, or Philly, or even Houston. So these spots are ideal. But like, if you get him the football in the plane or open space, and he's able to get momentum, out in the open, then he rips off 50, 60 yards. I mean, there's plenty of times where Derrick Henry's caught a pass and gone like almost house or taken it house, and everybody's like, why doesn't Tennessee throw to him more? But they just didn't. So he could go somewhere and get more receptions than we ever imagined. But he could also go somewhere and fall flat on his face because he's 30 years old. And hitting the ground is a lot more damaging to his body than it is ours. Every time he hits the ground, he's putting so much force into, absorbing that. It's gonna be weird. At some point, he's gonna drop off, and it's gonna be like watching a player in mud, and it's gonna be pretty depressing.
I know it's a pretty hot take, but I wouldn't be surprised. Because considering what Pollard said, that he would like to return to Dallas, even taking less money, that if Jerry Jones can swing it and get Henry and Pollard, I wouldn't negate that would be a strong possibility.
Yeah, and then you get Pollard back in his old role. Maybe he's explosive again. That'd be crazy if we're all on the Pollard train again. We're like, put him back in the reserve role. Holy God, he looks good. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I probably wouldn't go near Pollard at high value, but I imagine if Derrick Henry was in Dallas, Pollard would be free. I think Pollard would probably be double-digit round value, and that I would get on board. I could grab Pollard. Because if Derrick Henry gets hurt, guess who's the starting running back for the Dallas Cowboys? Tony Pollard. At a double-digit round value, he become a massive sleeper. So it depends on his ADP.
And I know people were saying that Pollard started getting better towards the second half of the season, but I'm from Texas, and Dallas, Houston, those are the teams. Don't forget that there's a reason why that CeeDee Lamb and Pollard kind of went better in the second half of the season, because the schedule was a lot easier the second half of the season. They didn't play as good as the defenses anymore. So that did take into play. So that's why I'm real skeptical next season with CeeDee Lamb, with Dak, with anybody, because they did have easier schedule. So that's just my take when it comes to. I'm not gonna. Me personally, don't get me wrong, I love CeeDee Lamb. Remember seeing him with Oklahoma, telling my parents, "This guy's it. This is a great draft pick. They should get CeeDee Lamb. He's fantastic." And but right now, I'm pumping the brakes.
Well, pumping the brakes. How far though? So CeeDee Lamb's going at times like 2, 3, 4 overall. So I assume you don't.
Not doing that.
Okay, so where do you get back into the CeeDee Lamb game then? If you're doubting CeeDee Lamb at all, just curious.
Coming to receivers, JJ, Jamar Chase.
Okay.
Without doubt, Monra.
You're gonna take Amon-Ra before Lamb? I'm not saying you're like I'm not making you go on a lap, but I definitely don't agree with you. But I'm curious. So Amon-Ra. Okay, who else? I love Amon-Ra, but Lamb chops.
Puka.
Okay.
I'm thinking because again, I just don't trust the Cowboys. I just don't.
Is that coming from a place of like, you got something, you got it out for them, like? Because you think about it, like you could break down your logic though against other teams that had easy schedules too, but you're probably not looking at it that way. Like you really can't dissect what the Cowboys did last year and go, well, the reason CeeDee Lamb was one of the best receivers in the league and becoming everybody's like 3 or 4 overall player was because of his schedule. You don't even know what their schedule is, walking into this upcoming season.
Exactly.
What if it's great?
Exactly. See, the first half of the season, how was CeeDee Lamb doing? Not so hot.
Well, no, but you could also, but you could also dissect that and say, what did McCarthy say at the beginning of the year? We're going to run the damn ball, and we're changing things up in Dallas to a degree and more balanced. That didn't work. Pollard wasn't getting it done. Dallas wasn't getting it done. He reverted back to a Kellen Moore type of passing attack and started feeding CeeDee Lamb, abandoning the run, and they got back on track. So hard to really know what to equate it to. And again, I'm not trying to say you're wrong on this, but I feel like you're very much undervaluing CeeDee Lamb, but we'll see, bro.
It's not CeeDee Lamb. I think CeeDee Lamb's great. I just don't trust the Cowboys. It's not CeeDee Lamb. It's the Cowboys I don't trust.
Every year they're a top 5.
CeeDee Lamb's fantastic.
Yeah, but every year Dallas does it. Every year, multiple years, back to back to back to. Like every year they're a top 5 arsenal. Every year Dak's blowing up. So I don't know.
It's just a stigma of being within them for the past 30 years. It's hard.
we might have to take away your Lamb card.
Oh, I'm fine. I didn't drop him at all last year.
Get Lamb.
Sorry. I love CeeDee Lamb.
You can't say you love. Hold on, DeBalt. You can't. Look. I get what you're saying. I'm not sending. Look, I'm not going to send you on a lap for a bold take. But you can't say what you just said and say you love CeeDee Lamb. We do not allow that. Maybe you like him. You could say you like him. You cannot say I draft Puka and St. Brown 1, 2 turn picks, 12, 13, 11, 14 type picks. You cannot take CeeDee Lamb from number 3 or 4 overall, or some cases number 2 overall. Put him down 11, 12, and then say you like him. We're not allowing it. We're taking away your lamb chop card.
Get Lamb.
That's fine. That's
quite all
right. I entrust Matthew Stafford. Yeah, Matthew Stafford way more than I do trust Dak. And I don't trust McCarthy at all.
But I love Lamb. He's not going to be top 12, but I love Lamb. All right, go ahead. Perps, you're live.
Well, weren't we talking about, I don't know, 2-3 weeks ago about Pollard and the fact that if someone like Henry went there, it could open it up for him to run better instead of all the pressure being on him and running a two-set backfield?
Yeah, definitely. We talked about him not having a market and then just going back to Dallas for sure. And I think it makes him free. I think he's a double-digit round grab, and that's fantastic. He becomes one of the best handcuffs in fantasy football, Tony Pollard, if he's a backup to Derrick Henry, because Derrick Henry's older. Derrick Henry's got the mileage. Dallas wants to ground and pound, and they're going to wear him down. And Tony Pollard might start 7 games by himself. So very much do like that. But what do you think about what DeBalt just said about CeeDee Lamb? He just pissed all over his grave, prematurely.
Well, I think it's like the Baker Evans combo. I mean, him and Dak were in tune, and it'd be fun to see if they can connect again this year and put up the numbers. Because I hear where he's coming from on the defenses, but the defenses didn't matter. CeeDee Lamb's that good. Amon-Ra's good, but Detroit's flooded with too many fingers that want the ball. So I'd take CeeDee Lamb over Amon-Ra, but that's just me.
Yeah, again, DeBalt, I'm not mad at your take. You're not taking a lap on it. Because bold stuff happens. You can have a bold take like that. But you can't say you love CeeDee Lamb after you just said it, though. Maybe you do, but you can't say it. You can't. You just
no,
can't.
Man, it's not the first. I live in Texas. I'm around it all the time. And before anyone says, oh, it's because the ball doesn't like the Cowboys because like the Texans. What y'all don't know is I've been a Cowboys fan since 1987, and this is the year I let them go because I just don't trust them. And that's what I'm telling you. I love
you
CeeDee
let
Lamb.
him go.
I don't trust McCarthy.
You let him go though. That's not loyal.
I let him go.
I will
just
back
can't do it.
the vault up. He did say before, like a month or more ago, about his issue with Mike McCarthy and how him and Jerry Jones just can't get it right.
Yeah, but you can't abandon your team. You gotta be pissed off, throw your hat down, get all upset. But so you jumping over to Houston?
Oh, I'm a Buckeye fan first and foremost. So they got my Stroud boy. They got my Stroud. See, and I love the Cowboys.
So he's a Houston.
Zeke.
He's a transfer. The Bolt's a transfer. At least he's being honest.
My mom literally asked me my Troikman signed football. She goes, "No, give me your Troikman signed football." I'm like, I don't like the Cowboys.
I'm not gonna lie. I have a feeling you're gonna jump ship here at some point, the ball. But I do. I can't blame you. You got to do what you got to do. Don't listen to anybody else. You do what makes you happy. But
oh yeah,
Smitty,
I'm just fed up with it.
He's too good.
But I like him.
You see, you know how Ron Navy is with Mike Tomlin. That's me with McCarthy.
Yeah, but he's still not abandoning the Steelers. I don't know if Perps is ever going to leave the Minnesota Vikings. He's pissed off. He might be.
After 30 years, I'm done with it, man. I'm just done. I can't do it anymore.
I don't know.
all the memes they say about the Cowboys, and it's kind of hard.
Okay, but hey, can I just tell you though, you can't get back on the train if they start winning and they win a Super Bowl. You can't be calling and going, "My Cowboys won." We're gonna remember the day. Do I have to write it on my door? The day DeBalt abandoned the Cowboys.
As long as Jerry Jones is there, it ain't gonna happen.
He abandons the Cowboys the year before they win.
America's team.
They're gonna win next year now. DeBalt's gonna not be a part of it. We're not letting you back on, DeBalt. You're not. You just gave up on him. You quit him.
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm like, look, man, I've been in this abusive relationship long enough, man.
DeBalt, he swung over to Houston.
He's not gonna change.
All right. Well,
I love the Texans. Man.
All right, gents. Anything else on this topic before I let you guys go? DeBalt, go ahead. Final thoughts. Derrick Henry. Anything else relating to it? Go ahead. Go.
I think Henry will be perfect in Dallas, for what they need, and if they keep Pollard, it's gonna be great. He would be great in Dallas, but if he really wants to win a ring, he's gonna have to.
Are they gonna do good in Dallas? I'm confused, DeBalt.
No.
I'm confused.
Look,
I'm confused at where you're at with this.
I know it's hard to read when people are like, you're saying, hey, Well, you're saying that they're not going to go. I'm not saying they're not good. I just don't trust them. That's the thing. I just don't trust them. But I believe these players can do well in those systems. I'm not saying I'm not saying CeeDee Lamb's bad. I'm just saying I prefer other players than CeeDee Lamb. That's it.
That is cap.
So like Marvin Harrison Jr. is he do better getting drafted by the Cards than he is with the Patriots.
Get lambed.
But that's all it is.
DeBalt, appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks, Smitty.
You do you. Do whatever makes you happy. Go Houston. Here, I'll hit the Stroud button for you since you're now a Houston Texan fan.
Liftoff of mission 3.
Do it. This one.
1 0 0.
I think DeBalt was flying that rocket. Oh, man.
Well, he's flying the flag. I mean, you got to give him credit. At least he stood by his conviction. He didn't waver when you pressure.
You know,
his
conviction to waver is unmatched. I'll give him that. And I do love DeBalt. DeBalt's the man. But I just a little thrown off.
Went and seen his therapist, and his therapist said divorce the Cowboys.
You shouldn't keep in your life negative forces. I think the therapist didn't know that he was thinking of the Cowboys, and he's like, "What relationships do you have in your life, DeBalt? I would like you to eliminate the negative relationships and toxic relationships from your life so you can move forward." And DeBalt thought, "God, the most negative relationship I have was with the Dallas Cowboys, Mike McCarthy, and Dak Prescott." And so he didn't consult with his therapist. He just decided to cut him off and burned all the jerseys. I don't know.
Yep, he was done. He had enough.
Get lambed.
All right.
So I'm gonna hit the back pedal button here.
Okay.
So since everyone makes jokes that you do, I'll back pedal right now.
Back pedal, Peter.
And if Pollard stays with Dallas, then I agree that'd be a good spot for Henry, in my opinion. If he's not there, I'm not 100% sure that I like him there as much as you guys, but that's just my take.
I think he's good at any one of these spots. I really don't have a preference, really, other than I just believe he goes to Dallas or Baltimore. But I mean, Philly would be smart to get in this running back game. I just don't know if they're that smart about it. But Kellen Moore, does he have a lot of pull? Kellen Moore will want an RB. I think he will.
Well,
so
DeAndre Swift wasn't supposed to do what he did this year. Everyone thought he was done and over. And
yeah,
he put on a stellar year.
Can you imagine if they had plugged in a Henry or a Jacobs or a Barkley though? Because they took a PT Cruiser and put it in a race with a bunch of other like Mustangs and like Swift is. I don't want to call Swift a PT Cruiser really, but he's a versatile player, not a ground and pound between the tackle specialist, and they turned him into that. They're like, hey, I know you're not a full-time guy, you've never stayed healthy, let's just pound the rock. And Swift said, okay, let's do it live. And they did it. He stayed relatively healthy, did a fantastic job. I hope Swift gets a chance somewhere. I'd love to see him go to like Cincinnati and replace like Mixon. That would be a good place for Swift to go. And Cincinnati become a part of the passing game. That would be really, really epic. But Philly's smart to go get a ground and pound running back like Henry, Jacobs, or Barkley, because they would level up on their competition, and then they wouldn't be sitting here in a wild card matchup where they're losing to a team because they have no balance and they have just a off, game or something. But I think Kellen Moore, new OC in Philly, is going to fix everything, and all these Jalen Hurts haters out there are going to have to be quiet again for quite some time. They won't take accountability. They'll just say he's garbage, he's horrible. And the memes are out of control. The guy shaved his goatee, and everybody's just ripping him like to shreds. I don't know what it is. The hatred for Jalen Hurts is unreal. It's unreal. It's unprecedented. It's crazy. Crazy.
No, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I mean, obviously, once the trade market opens and once the draft goes and things settle, it'll be fun to see where things are at.
Yeah, in DeBalt's defense, we have a few people coming to DeBalt's, rescue. Some people are saying, DeBalt, you can't switch teams, but then I got a couple of people like Mark.
Mark Birkeland, I wish I could switch teams at times, but I'll always be a Seahawks fan, but I root for the Bills and Lions.
So Mark's defending DeBalt to a little bit of a degree. Silver wasn't having it. Silver said switching teams take a lap.
Yeah, there's one thing on switching teams and being a bandwagon jumper.
Yeah, that's true.
So depending on the time of year, Mark, he's a bandwagon jumper,
at least
depending on what team's what.
At least he's staying inside the state, boundaries.
Yeah, he's true to his roots.
Yeah,
for sure.
He's like, okay, where can I stay with inside the confines of the boundaries here? I'll be honest. I'll be honest. As a kid, I never understood. And in a way, I kind of think I'd feel the same way. Arizona's never had two teams. But if Arizona had two teams, I would find a way to be fans of both. You know what I mean? Like growing up, I would have. I don't really have this whole like rivalry. Like that's my state. So it kind of is weird to me how much rivalry and hatred there is between two teams, and some of them are very close next to each other. Like I get why that rivalry will develop, but I personally would want to support Arizona. So it's kind of funny to me if we got another team like DeBalt, could be fans of both. If Arizona had the Ravens and the Cardinals, two birds, I'd be a bird man all the way through and through.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you'd have to be. I mean, it is kind of sad that he did quit on a team that he's been a part of for 30 years. They're
going to win now. They're going to win now. He's going to try and slide in into one of the shows and go, my Cowboys won, Smitty. And I'm going to go, something's not right here. I don't remember everything because a lot of stuff goes in this ear and doesn't even go to the next ear. It literally falls right out because I have too much coming at me. But Ron Navy's got a memory like an elephant, and if he's watching, he'll remember this DeBalt for me.
Yeah, well, on top of that, I've been a Minnesota sports fan for over 30 years, and it's been nothing but disappointment. So at least his team's done something. America's team has had some good errors. Plus, we were part of the lopsided, horrible Herschel Walker trade.
What about the Cardinals?
His team got over on us.
What about the Cardinals? What about the Suns, man? You think I'm not wanting to pick up my TV and slam it every single year when the Suns look unbelievable, and then crap the bed in the playoffs, look unbelievable, crap the bed in the playoffs, look. I mean, and the Cardinals losing. I remember that guy that called in that thought everything I say against the Steelers is because of Kurt Warner, or whatever. Everything I say about Kurt Warner is because
he hated Kurt Warner.
I literally didn't even, to be honest with you, piece together anything in my mind ever about Kurt Warner and the Steelers correlation at all. So it's hilarious that he thought that, but remembering it, like thinking back, oh yeah, Santonio Holmes catching that touchdown, that was devastating. Cardinals we've had a lot stolen from us, but we're used to it. We're very much used to getting to the end and just sharding the bed, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I can share that. Yeah, I can share that sentiment for sure.
Yeah, the Cardinals have been all over St. Louis. They definitely moved around. All right, Perps. I'll see you later, pal. I'll probably be live on the Dynasty channel later tonight. I'll see you there.
Yeah, I'm going to try and make it depending on what time you fire it up over there.
All right. Appreciate you.
See if I can keep these eyes open.
Yep. All right. Later, man.
We'll see you. Thanks.
Guys, I don't know if we have much more today. It's kind of a slow day. Let me pull up my phone. 87 of you in here. The phone number's on screen if you want to dial in real quick and drop your opinion. But let me go ahead and pull up Twitter, aka X, and see if there's any kind of news coming down stream by way of Schefter or the boys. Xavier Howard is not expected to return back to the Miami Dolphins. We got Derrick Henry unlikely to return to Tennessee. We've been reporting on that. That's kind of it right now. That's the main piece of news. Derrick Henry, which again isn't like shocking news, but it's confirmation of what we've been speculating to be the truth, right? And we're all just accepting that we just haven't heard anything. But it's being reported everywhere. Like the second news report on NBC Sports is Derrick Henry not likely to return to the Titans. So we had to come live on it, even though it's kind of obvious, but it does give us something to talk about in terms of, okay, well, you know, it's time to start expecting him to be in a different home. And where does he go? What's good for fantasy? What's the best location? We've got a super chat from Sick Nasty who says, for a $2 holler, at what ages are guys considered old rookies? It's a great question, but it very much depends on the position. As a quarterback, I'm not too worried about it at all. Because if you're a year older than Stroud right now, I believe that Penix Jr. is Stroud's age or a little older than Stroud. And that's, you know, a concern to some people, right? But we're talking about a quarterback that could play till 35 plus, you know, so I'm not worried about that. Wide receivers, it's a little bit worrisome because their drop-off age is probably 30. So if they come out and they're, you know, a year older, then you have like 7 years of like, you know, that comfortable space where a player, yeah, so it's just a year short, but it's not the end of the world with a wide receiver. Sometimes with wide receivers and running backs, though, the breakout age can be very telling as to what the progress of the player could be in their ceiling value. So if a wide receiver or running back comes out at a very young age and is playing at the level as everybody else, their upside to become better than the people at the next level are greater because they haven't even reached their max potential yet. They're doing it at a younger age. They're more advanced than the average bear. So running backs and wide receivers, you don't want them to come out anywhere near a year older than the average player at the rookie position. So wide receivers, running backs, you do not want them to be even a year and a half older typically. J Far, what are you doing? Are you in space? What's going on? What's that sound?
What sound? A blinker?
I don't know. It sounds like maybe it's the air conditioning. What's up, J Far? What can we do for you?
It might be.
You're
live.
live.
What's up, man? I don't know. I just tuned in. I was just seeing what you're talking about. Derrick Henry. They're saying he bought a house in Dallas. What's up with that?
Well, I believe. What did you say? What did you just say about Dallas?
They said he purchased a house in Dallas. That was the rumor going
Well,
around
your boy's been telling you Derrick Henry's going to Dallas.
That's what I'm hoping.
I don't know that he's actually officially purchased a home in Dallas, but maybe he's looking. Maybe he's contemplating. They said
he purchased one today.
Let me see. Where did you read that on?
I forget where I saw that. If you type it in Google. I forget what it came up.
Hold on. Ziggy, did Derrick Henry buy a home in Dallas? Let's see if Ziggy can hook it up.
From Realtor.com, Tennessee Titans running back Derrick Henry has scooped up a new home in Dallas.
Woo, doggy! Ziggy caught it. Ziggy's got it right there. New home in Dallas.
I might have heard it. I might have heard it from Ziggy earlier.
You might have. Ziggy off. This is interesting news. Why has anybody seen that from Shefty? Why? But the thing is, the one thing I would say is that Deebo Samuel's looking for a home in Arizona, and we don't know why that is. So we don't fully know. But Derrick Henry buys home Dallas. Let's find out. Let's find the source. Derrick Henry's latest home purchase might hint NFL free agency landing spot, says A to Z Sports. Henry just bought a home in Dallas from Sports Illustrated. Let's put this one up. Let's put this one up right here. Derrick Henry has been working out in Dallas. Okay, that's where he's been working out. And there's gossip that he just bought a house in Dallas. What's the truth behind the rumors? First, make no mistake. He does his NFL offseason in Dallas, which is in no way connected to the Cowboys. He may have just conducted another transaction And let's see, blah, 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 home. So, yeah, I don't know. So he did just move here in addition to a home in Nashville. So he's been here since 2022, purchased. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Make no mistake, once again, for the last couple years, folks, outside of this, of the rumors to Dallas, he's been potentially working out there every year. King Henry is never, blah, 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 blah. Trying to find out if there's anything to it. Okay, so I guess this is kind of similar to the Deebo Samuel thing. We're not too sure that we can draw conclusions. Not to mention, like, he's not locked and loaded in a contract and they can't do anything right now. So it'd be pretty presumptuous to say, you know, I'm going to buy the house now and we know the deal is already, like, ready to go. You know what I mean? So it's interesting news for sure. It definitely adds more fuel to the fire, but I don't know that we can draw too many conclusions to it. But it's definitely interesting. Thank you for calling in on that. I don't know why that's not more widespread. Maybe it is, and it's just not hitting Shefty and those guys. Interesting. But, bro, that's my landing spot. That's what I've been preaching. Dallas, Derrick Henry, Baltimore, Jacobs, Houston, Barkley, Blake Corum, LAC. Your boy Smitty's going to be on top of this. I think I'm connecting these dots very, very well. I think this is how it's going to go.
I hope so, but the Cowboys, these big names always float around, and then the time comes and they sign these guys that you never heard of, or these guys that are third-string guys, and it's always disappointing.
Well, Jerry Jones wants to make a splash, bro. He does.
I hope.
All right, Jay Farr, anything else, bro?
That's it, man.
All right, man.
I've been listening. I've been listening in the morning when I get a chance.
Right. Well,
keep it up, man. I'm enjoying it.
Call in tonight, or it'll be on the Dynasty channel, okay?
Yeah, I listen to that. YouTube, usually later on, but.
Attaboy.
No doubt.
All right, later.
All right.
Ziggy Schefter. Ziggy, is your last name Schefter?
From letslearnslang.com.
Ziggy off. God, he's worthless. Absolutely worthless. Drafted Gibbs, MHJ, in London in the first 3 rounds in your draft right now. Great job, Ray G. Thank you for using your celebratory message, my guy. Ziggy Schefter, appreciate you. Houston is 3 hours away from Dallas. Already at a home in Dallas. He'd be a good fit for Dallas. I think this will help him want to go there. You know what I mean? Like, maybe this is not, the house purchase might have nothing to do, as the article even said, to do with him going to Dallas. But you've got to think that if Dallas offers him the same deal as anybody else, he's going to be like, well, I got a home here. Let's do it. I work out here. I like being here. I mean, he obviously he loves Dallas. He loves, being there, or he wouldn't want to work out there in the off season. Like, I don't know about you, but I'm going to want to play in a location where, it's America's team, everybody says, right? You've got Dak, you've got CeeDee Lamb, you've got a potent offense, you've got a playoff team, you got a Super Bowl contending team, and you give Derrick Henry. If Derrick Henry feels he's the difference maker that can take them over the top, how good does that feel to walk in, even though you may or may not be able to do it because you're older, but how good does that feel to feel like you are the missing piece? We bring you in, we win a championship, will be the selling point. Whether it happens or not, whether that's accurate or not, is a whole different debate. But that's how he's going to feel. I got a home here. You want me here. You got Dak. You got CD. You got a team that can win it all. You got a team that was one of the best teams in football all year long and then crapped the bed in the playoffs. Why'd they crap the bed? They couldn't run the ball. Let's remedy that. Let's remedy that right now. Mattos says 12 TDs in Dallas. Look, he could have 1,000 yards, 50 what? What is that, 58 yards a game? 1,000 yards is 58.8 yards per game, to be completely accurate. He can get 58 yards a game and 12 scores in Dallas, missing 3 or 4 games. From a fantasy perspective, that's a damn good 4th round pick. And on Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty, link is pinned in the live chat and in the description of every video. So sign up now so you can draft with us at nighttime during the graveyard shift. Smitty, promo code Smitty, link pinned in the live chat, link in the description if you're watching the replay. On Underdog right now, Derrick Henry can be had in the 4th round. Once he's in Dallas or Baltimore, I don't think he stays in round 4. I think he climbs to round 3. So you have one objective over the next couple of days and weeks. Draft Derrick Henry, draft Derrick Henry, draft Derrick Henry in round 4. Don't look back. Load up your teams now. You won't be wanting to draft him if he climbs all the way to the top of 3 later. So why not just compile a bunch of teams that have Derrick Henry early on in the offseason on Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. Do it live. Double your first deposit up to $100 and figure out a way to build a 4th round Derrick Henry built team. Do as many of them as you can while it will last, because that's the only value I love. I don't love him at 25 overall. I love him in the 4th round where the risk is almost nil. I will see you all later. Appreciate you. Oh, by the way, we got a new pancake stack to properly maintain and keep in Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase while also executing excitement for the triple stack in Houston. Here you go.
The stack above all stacks. It's time to drop the pancake emojis in the live chat.
Look at him! 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 Double stack, triple stack. That is glorious right there. If Fields goes to Chicago, we'll have... I'm sorry, Atlanta. If Fields goes to Atlanta, we'll have a quad stack in the middle at some point where it'll be London, Bijan, Fields, and Pitts, I think. But right now, that looks absolutely fantastic. There's a little something in there for everybody. You know, you like the double stack. There you go. Joe Burrow and Chase are still going to be the double stack. And dare I say, one of the best values in fantasy football, because Joe Burrow can be had in like round 6, 7. So you're spending a mid first round pick, which is a value on Jamar Chase. You're spending a mid to mid late first 6th, 7th, 8th round pick on Joe Burrow. You got an amazing stack. This other stack is kind of costly, but it's fun.
The stack above all stacks. It's time to drop.
I mean, look at him at Stroud, Collins, Dell. You're gonna have to spend a lot to get that stack, but it's still a fun stack. Big O celebrating his 14-month membership says, would you take a 1.4 in a rookie draft superflex? I mean, it's a loaded question, Big O. I would say that I'm usually pretty good at making sure my quarterback rooms are amazing in superflex, so I never am pressured to go quarterback. I'm just not. I'd take Marvin Harrison Jr. in a heartbeat, but if you've got like no QBs, JD5 is my number 1 superflex player. MHJ is my second, but if you have to go quarterback, it depends on where Penix Jr., Bo Nix, and Caleb Ball go. Because Bo Nix and Penix Jr. to me are better than Caleb. It just depends on the landing spot. It also depends on your quarterbacks. But in general, JD5 and Marvin Harrison and Odunze are my 1, 2, 3 in a superflex. But that's because I plan ahead, and I can't guarantee that I would do that same order, use that same order in a league where someone handed me a team that had no QBs. You know what I'm saying, bro? So it kind of depends. Why don't you call in tonight on the Dynasty channel? It'd be a great topic. Call in tonight on the Dynasty channel. Appreciate your message. I will see you all later. And I'm live, so you know, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. It sounds like daylight savings time kicks in on this Sunday, so 8 p.m. Eastern might change for some of you like it does for me, but it always remains 8 p.m. Eastern, so you got to figure that out on your own as far as time zone changes. 8 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday, live when news breaks. Join me on Rumble tonight, and I will see you all later.
He's Kyron, he's 7 feet tall, and he knows how to handle a ball. He's Kyron, he can take frowns and turn them upside down with his touchdowns.
Got him.